So, Brooke, are you ready to meet Superman's son?
Didn't we meet Superman's son the last time?
No, not that one.
So he has a different one?
In this one, he does.
Bum, bum, bum. Dramatic.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Sharing Comics Club. That's the club where you share comics with your friends. Written by Geoff Johns and Richard Donner, with art by Adam Kubert and Gary Frank, I will fully admit that I am not the biggest Superman fan. I grew up with the Bruce Timm animated series that later evolved into the Justice League cartoon, but I never saw Superman and went, oh yeah, that's my guy. I saw the Justice League cartoon and saw Flash and saw him cracking jokes, and I'm like, oh, he's like Beast Boy. He's my guy.
That's actually pretty funny because I literally was about to say the same thing. Spider-Man. Wow. I am not in this universe whatsoever. Superman is not my cup of tea. I don't know. I just find him not interesting just for me. It's just, oh, he has all the superpowers you think when you think superhero, and that's it. And he's a do-gooder.
Now, that being said, now that I'm older, I want to read more of his stuff because I appreciate what Superman stands for. And I told you this before off camera, how Marvel and DC are the big two, but a lot of the characters that they have aren't like one-to-one comparisons. Because Superman is a little like Captain America because they both have very stalwart ideals and like everyone trusts them. He's also like Spidey in that he has even greater power, so he's got even greater responsibility, and they both work at a newspaper. Oh, and another superhero team that Superman is kind of like, I'd say, is the Fantastic Four, because he's not like a public identity like them instead of a secret identity, but like everyone trusts them too, and like Superman fights kind of like the same kind of fights the Fantastic Four fight, like evil aliens, interdimensional conquerors, that kind of thing. So at this point in time, Clark and Lois are married, and she knows Clark is Superman.
Context, how did that happen? Because I was confused.
I actually don't remember the story for how Superman breaks it to Lois.
Okay, so it's kind of like, hey, I'm Superman. Got it. Moving on.
So Superman is in his base at the North Pole, the Fortress of Solitude, talking with a hologram of Jor-El, his father from Krypton. And if you'll remember Megamind, this is his space dad.
Okay, so he has the dad that raised him, if I stand corrected, and then he has his space dad.
Yeah, he's got Pa Kent, the father who raised him, and Jor-El, his space dad.
Is his space dad like alive?
No, he's a hologram. He's just like a robot that's just got all the memories of Jor-El and a bunch of Kryptonian history.
Oh, okay, so he's kind of like Vision, if you think about it.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Also, like 20 minutes before we started recording, I wanted to reread the book again, and I noticed the penguins should not be here because penguins live in the South Pole and Superman lives in the North Pole with Santa.
Exactly. How does Santa have penguins? Nope, it's the elves in disguise. Can't ruin the magic.
Anyway, Jor-El reminds Superman that he was sent here to Earth because he looks like a human, but he is not one of them. And I'm like, thanks, Space Dad. Good talk. He mentioned that it's been a while since he turned on the hologram, and not gonna lie, I can see why.
Talk about daddy issues, am I right?
Well, Superman has issues with this daddy, not his real one.
Well, yeah.
I mean, not the one that raised him.
Of course, duh.
So we cut to the Daily Planet, and publisher Perry White is yelling at Jimmy Olsen for taking blurry photos, even though he almost died trying to get them. Bring me pictures of Superman!
See, I wasn't wrong for bringing up Spider-Man.
Yep. Anyway, Perry tells Jimmy to get him some coffee, and Perry goes on a whole rant to Clark about how back in his day, if he gave his boss a cold coffee, his boss would throw it in his face. But apparently that's office abuse nowadays. So while Perry goes on ranting about how they got to toughen up the next generation, we see little speech balloons of people calling for help that Superman hears with his super hearing. And I really dig this way of showing his super hearing as a power. I also like the idea that Clark is thinking, oh boy, Perry's going on one of his rants. Please let someone be in trouble so I can leave. Or okay, Perry's going to be like this for a while. Maybe I could listen for someone calling for help and do something productive.
He's like, oh God, this guy's going on this rant again. You know what? I'm just going to tune into a different channel.
Pretty much. And it pays off because he then sees a giant flaming object heading towards Metropolis. So Superman springs into action, catches it, and finds that there's a little naked boy inside. And someone must have used Batman's giant penny and put it in a giant gumball machine, and this is the prize. Because it's like one of those little capsule toys.
Well, someone's got to come pick it up.
So the boy is taken to the Department of Metahuman Affairs with Sergeant Steele in charge. Now that's the DMA, not the DWMA, for all you Soul Eater fans like Brooke out there.
Which, tune in soon because that is very important for a later episode.
Now, DC has a bunch of different organizations for their SHIELD. So these guys are basically like SHIELD. Some of those organizations include these guys, the DEO, the Department of Extranormal Affairs, and SHADE, which has Frankenstein as one of their agents. So they're immediately cooler than all the others.
Facts.
And Sarge Steele is about to light a cigar when our big blue Boy Scout takes his cigar and advises us about secondhand smoke around the kid. They wonder where the boy is from when he suddenly lifts up the TV. Okay, lots of aliens out there. Could be from anywhere. Wait, what's he speaking? Kryptonese. He said he's hungry. So Superman asks the kid what his name is and where he's from, but the boy says he doesn't know and asks Supes how he can fly. Later on, the boy asks Superman not to leave, so Superman gives him a very parental promise, saying that he'll be here until he falls asleep and come back before he wakes up. I also want to just point out that the kid's race car bed is awesome, and the end table is a gas pump.
Which, like, is every kid's dream, by the way. I saw that, and I was like, dang, these scientists take care of this kid with this dang race car bed. I want a race car bed.
Yeah, I want that kid's race car bed. So time passes and it's night, and Superman stops by the Daily Planet office where Lois is working late and drops off some Chinese food. He tells her how the kid is in a room full of scientists who take notes on everything he does, and Superman realizes that could have been him had he not landed where he did. And then what? The scientists would what? Put him under a microscope, brainwash him to be a super soldier. And in fact, that's basically what happened during this book called Flashpoint, where because of time travel, the present gets screwed up and the government gets Superman when he was a baby and they stick him underground away from the sun in a bunker. And he winds up looking all skinny and emaciated.
So this is basically just a giant, like, humble, oh man, that could have been me situation for Superman.
Yeah, and he's also like, but it's this kid. I don't want this kid to be dissected or brainwashed or both. Oh, Lois then says that they had talked about it, and basically she isn't ready for kids. And she adds that Krypton is gone, but Superman hits back with the fact that Supergirl exists, so maybe someone had another rocket. Also, I'm like 95% sure Krypto was with Superman by this point, too.
Wait, can Superman get anybody pregnant?
We'll get to that at the end. And technically, he has, because we did Super Sons, and John is his kid.
That is true.
With Lois.
Okay, yeah, we're moving on.
So Lois then changes her article to say that the mystery boy that landed from the sky is a Kryptonian. So the next day, Superman flies over to see the boy, but the kid's gone. In fact, everyone is gone. And we cut to the Pentagon, and Sarge Steele is talking with some scientists who explain that based on the rocket's trajectory, it should have smashed through the moon. But since we don't have a hole in the moon, they think it came through hyperspace. Sarge then gets a call saying that he has a visitor. And Superman smashes the doors open, bends the guards' guns to point upwards, and his every step leaves an impression in the floor. He then slams Steele into the wall and demands to know where the boy is. And Steele is all like, they told me that they told you. And Superman is like, where is he? The tests were positive that he was Kryptonian and he's being moved to a more secure facility. Where? And I love this scene because Superman is not known for being angry, but I love how angry he is because it's a kid. He doesn't know where this kid is, and he's also possibly the last remnant of his whole civilization.
Yeah, it's kind of like a protecting your own at all costs kind of like situation.
I'd also like to point out that it's like, I feel like Superman would act this way, like, regardless if the kid was Kryptonian.
Yeah, because if dealing with a kid, it kind of everything's out the window.
Pretty much. And also because Superman sat with him and like bonded with him. So, and like the kid trusts Superman. So Superman cares about the kid. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor reads Lois's article, and I'm just like, thanks, Lois. Thanks for putting a target on the little boy's bowl cut. So the convoy carrying the boy is ambushed, and the boy is taken. And we cut to the Kent farm. And I love this sequence because Clark says, a young boy fell from the sky. You took him home, you forged documents, you raised him on your own. And then we see Clark holding the boy, and he asks, tell me how you did it. And the Kents are Superman's Earth parents. So you got the space dad and you got the Earth dad.
I only knew of Earth Dad.
Yeah. So we cut back to the fortress. Superman asks Jor-El who the kid could be, but Jor-El explains that not all of Krypton's records survived. So he's all, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know who he is. And after that somber note, Superman teaches the boy how to fly. And the kid looks very happy, and I think it's very adorable. So Superman, Lois, and the boy are at the Kent's farm with Ma and Pa Kent. And Pa Kent is upset that Superman took the kid because those soldiers were only doing their job of taking the little boy to a shady government facility. Clark says they were kidnapping him. And then someone hits back with, and you did? To which I would respond with, he saved the child from the shady government facility. Superman tries to hand the boy off to his folks, but Pa informs him that they won't be around forever. But Clark and Lois? Pa also mentioned.
So the epitome of we want grandkids, like that parents do to like kids eventually. They were like, hey, we want grandkids. And look, grandchild right here.
Pretty much. Also, Pa's getting old. He got a bad back. He can't be keeping up with another Superboy. Now, boy, I told you to get down off that damn silo. Oh, my hip!
Oh, no. Oh, Superboy, can you, no, I did not say pick up the barn. I just said pick up after the barn cat. I can't do this no more.
Now, son, when I told you to pick up some beef and milk, I didn't mean for you to pick up the whole cow. But I like your hustle. Anyway, Pa mentions that between everyone on the League, mostly Batman, they can forge documents for the kid and adopt him. Lois points out that the boy's face has been plastered on every news channel, newspaper, and milk carton. So she asks, what are we going to do? Give him a pair of glasses? And Superman is like, well, yeah. Now, to be fair, it fooled her for who knows how many years, and it's still fooling Perry White and Jimmy and all the other office people.
That is true.
Lois also points out that the two of them weren't cut out to be parents. Superman saves the world, and Lois finds the truth in it. She says that the two of them can't be this boy's parents. So while they were talking, the boy was reading a dictionary, so now he knows English, because that's how that works. And he asks, why? So the TV report then says that Sarge Steele won't rest until they find the boy, so Superman calls Sarge to set up a meeting. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor intercepts their transmission and plans to send someone to fetch the boy. And Superman organizes the media to show up to keep Sarge Steele honest. Supes also says that he wants to be informed on everything they do with the boy, and that Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen will be watching, and if they find anything wrong, they will expose the entire department. The boy doesn't want to go with Steele, but then they are attacked by Bizarro.
Who is Bizarro?
So Bizarro is a clone of Superman, but cloning is already like really, really hard. And Superman's got alien DNA, so it makes it even harder. So Bizarro is like a backwards Superman. What used to be his origin was that Superman was hit with a ray gun that was made to like duplicate things, but the duplicates came out all wrong. And that's what happened to Bizarro. So one other part of being backwards is that Bizarro has like the opposite of like Superman's powers. Like instead of freezing breath, he has fire breath, like a dragon. And instead of heat vision, he has ice vision.
Like a dragon.
You don't know. Actually, you do. You probably would know.
I was going to say, I do know. I did not have the Dragonology books for years, which I still do to this day for nothing.
You have a PhD in Dragonology.
I do have a PhD in Dragonology, and Dr. Ernest Drake would be very disappointed in you.
Alrighty then. I also like how instead of flying, Bizarro burrowed underground, and it's a fun opposite way to use him that I haven't seen them do that often. So he burrows underground like a street shark. Bizarro goes searching for the boy, and he breaks a random boy's arm while looking for the Kryptonian boy. And Bizarro's like, oh, you break. I gotta find the one that doesn't break. And he tosses the kid, Superman saves him, and then Superman tackles Bizarro through like 3 buildings until they wind up in a bus station, and then Bizarro hits Superman with a bus. So everyone else is running and panicking, but the boy is alone, and Lois sees him, and then Bizarro throws the bus, and then the bus Bizarro threw lands on the boy, and Bizarro also goes, oh, humans burn, but the kid I'm looking for won't burn, so I'll just burn everyone.
Yikes.
He's also very stupid, so it's also very terrifying to see like an idiot with like Superman's powers or the equivalent thereof. But thankfully, before he can do that, Superman throws a bunch of buses on top of him, and Superman tells him to keep his mouth shut around the kids. Lois looks inside the bus, but the boy is fine because he's super strong like Superman. But that being said, the boy looks horrified. And also his clothes are ripped because unlike Superman's super suit, he doesn't have like a super suit. He just has people clothes. So his shirt is all shredded. So Bizarro breaks free and punches one of the buses. And I love it because he goes, me not parking lot. But the bus hits the globe on top of the Daily Planet building, and it's about to hit Lois and the boy. But the boy manages to catch it and save Lois. And Superman uses his heat vision to melt the street around Bizarro, and then uses his super breath to freeze the molten street around him, trapping Bizarro. Lois, holding the boy, says to Superman, I know I said no, but I want to try. Now, Lois Lane and Clark Kent are walking with their new foster kid, and yeah, the foster kid, but where's the Kryptonian boy? I can't tell, this kid has glasses. And the Kryptonian boy doesn't. Took you a minute, didn't it?
Yeah, it took me a minute.
Anyways, they named the boy Christopher, and I think it's cute because he's named after Christopher Reeves, that is, the actor who played Superman in the movies that Richard Donner, who's working on this book, directed in the 70s.
Oh, that's actually really cute.
Meanwhile, at the Fortress of Solitude, the pod that the boy came in pings and sends a signal, and 3 more pods land, showing us General Zod, Ursa, and Non, the 3 Kryptonian villains from Superman 2, also directed by Richard Donner, I believe.
See a pattern here.
So Zod pulls a Rita Repulsa from Power Rangers and goes, at last, after 10,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer Earth! Meanwhile, Ursa and Non are like, we're here too. And Zod's like, yeah, whatever. But me, though. So they're in the Fortress of Solitude, and Ursa brings up that once they're in phase 2, they'll deal with Superman's cousin, Supergirl. So Zod talks to Space Dad, and apparently the super advanced Kryptonian hologram can't recognize faces, so Jor-El thinks Zod is Superman. Hey Dad, can I borrow like $100 and the space car? The Kryptonians that must have designed the hologram system must have been a AAA video game company because they put all their resources into graphics instead of making sure the game actually works. Oh, don't worry, the patch to fix that bug was due to come out the day after Krypton exploded.
Someone forgot to put it in the file.
Oh no, it was in there. It was just a microtransaction. You had to pay like 20 Krypton bucks.
In order to unlock it.
It's not a bug, it's a feature, honest. Anyways, Zod asked Space Dad to tell me about General Zod. And in this continuity, Jor-El discovered the Phantom Zone. No, not the Ghost Zone from Danny Phantom.
Oh,
Although apparently sometimes the Phantom Zone is called the Ghost Zone, so what do I know?
exactly. Coincidence? I think not.
Well, we'll know if Skulker or Technus shows up, so then we'll know for sure if it's the Ghost Zone or the Phantom Zone.
Exactly. I'll be waiting.
It's probably a zoning thing. Ghosts over here, Phantoms over there.
Phantom's over there. You got your permit? Yeah, you can go over to the right.
I just imagine one guy's like, "Hey, can Ember come over here on the Phantom side? No reason. We just really like her music."
No reason. Shut up.
So the Phantom Zone is an empty void, and while you're in there, you don't age or get hungry. So naturally, the Kryptonians decided to use it as a prison to send their worst criminals, including Zod, Ursa, and Nan, aka the worst Team Rocket. I mean, seriously, Nan is way too big to fit in the Meowth suit. Anyways, the three of them attacked and killed some of the council and were put in the Phantom Zone because you're not supposed to do that. Zod lashes it. He doesn't lash out, he lashes out.
Lashes out.
We'll leave that in. Zod lashes out, calling it all lies and smashing the crystals. Ursa points out some of the other parts of the fortress, like the statues of Superman's birth parents, his space parents, the endangered alien animal preserve, and the Phantom Zone viewer and projector, where we see Mon-El. We'll get to him in a bit. The projector is the little thing that looks like a little lamp, and the viewer is the mirror where you see like a Superman-looking guy in the picture. Zod then says that the Phantom Zone holds the key to their future, as does their son. Gee, I wonder who that could be.
Beats me.
Oh my god. Batman is Zod's son!
Oh my god.
Anyways, Superman and Lois are in the elevator of the Daily Planet building and going over their cover stories and get confused on whose cousin's son Chris is supposed to be. And then they're like, Batman had it all figured out. So Chris naturally asks, who's Batman? And then Lois goes, he's someone you're not going to be meeting until you're 16. But I have the Robin suit all made already.
Sir, he just came to the planet. Why do we have to make him a suit?
He just came to the planet. He was naked. He needs clothes. What about a Robin suit? They're thermal. He'll be warm.
Sir, how about worrying about your own Robins before adding a new one?
They're fine. There's like 5 of them in the cave. They could take care of themselves. They're like a flock.
Sir, what is this, Pokemon? You trying to collect them all?
Maybe. Shut up. I have the fun one. I have the angsty one. I've got the smart one. I don't have the bulletproof one.
I'll start making the costume.
Thank you. Was that so hard? Anyway, Superman also mentions that Batman's so good at making fake documents that he set up Wonder Woman with his secret identity that fooled the Department of Metahuman Affairs. So naturally, Chris also asks, who's Wonder Woman? And Lois answers, she's someone you won't be meeting until you're 18. I just imagine he sees her now. He's like, oh, pretty lady. Hi, what's your name? Wonder Woman. Oh, you really are wonderful. Oh.
I could see why.
Oh, I come from a whole island full of tall, awesome Amazons. Where are they? Just for future reference, just so, if I ever have a present and like, flowers or chocolate and stuff. I know where to send it. So they get up to the top floor and Perry White is ranting and raving about how he wants a picture of the Kryptonian Kid. Now, the Kryptonian Kid sounds like an awesome cowboy world name for Superman. Like, yeehaw, there goes the Kryptonian Kid. And Jimmy flashes a photo of Chris, but thankfully he doesn't realize who he is. Then Nan attacks, smashes a hole through the building, and kicks Superman into a park. And I love how Superman gets up and his suit is all torn and revealing his Superman clothes. And he's all, my mother bought me this suit. And he's so mad.
My mommy got me this, thank you.
And while Nan is busy wrestling Soups, Zod shows up and talks about how they know who he is, how his father would be disappointed in Superman. These sub-Kryptonians are little more than ants, blah, 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 kneel before Zod.
They always have to have a monologue with that kind of stuff, don't they?
Sometimes it's fun and entertaining. Sometimes it's just pompous windbaggery.
Listen, you gotta be like Megamind. Everything's about presentation.
Presentation.
Presentation!
And I believe this is Superman's first time meeting Zod. I don't think it's not the first time he appeared in comics, but it's the first time in this continuity that he's met Zod. Meanwhile, Ursa goes to pick up her kid from Lois and reveals that Chris's real name is Lor Zod. And like Superman's name is Kal-El.
Mm.
And Chris is terrified of her. Ursa also says, "You belong to us," which is never a good sign.
Yeah, that's never a sentence I want to hear.
Ursa also blasts Lois with her heat vision and then flicks her with her super strength. And meanwhile, Superman has to wrestle with both Zod and Non, and he says, "I'm sending you back." Zod says he's going to take over Earth and transform it into a new Krypton. And Superman asks, "You in what army?" And then Zod answers, "This one." And all of these pods start falling out of the sky. Superman tries to help, but Zod sends Superman into the Phantom Zone with the little projector he got from the fortress. And as he does that, Zod proclaims that Chris is the true last son of Krypton.
Dun, dun, dun.
So while in the Phantom Zone, Superman is getting his bearings, but thankfully he found Mon-El. And Mon-El thankfully gives us his origin. Mon-El is a Daxamite from the planet Daxam, and he appeared in like older comics, like in the 60s type old. And Daxamites have laws forbidding space travel, but on occasion a couple like sneak through. In fact, I think around the same time, maybe a little later, maybe a little before, one Daxamite actually becomes a Green Lantern.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you basically got a guy with Superman powers and a Green Lantern ring.
Oh, fancy, fancy.
Fancy pantsy.
Yeah, fancy, fancy.
Fancy green pantsy. And Mon-El tracked Superman's rocket to Earth and made his own so he could follow. But when Mon-El landed, he lost his memory and he found Superboy. And at that time, it was just Superman with his powers as a boy. And sometimes he would go on his own adventures back in the day. Other times he would actually go to the future and be with this team called the Legion of Superheroes, which is basically just like the Teen Titans in the future, and they got a Superboy. And I forget if Mon-El had joined the Legion. Let me just check. Yes, Mon-El actually was a part of the Legion of Superheroes at one point, but probably not at the same time as Superboy was being Superboy. Anyways, so when Mon-El landed, they thought he was from Krypton because he had the same powers as Superboy under a yellow sun. Then he was poisoned because he was exposed to lead by Superboy. And basically, as a prank, Superboy had like a lead box with a meteor painted to look like kryptonite, and it was going to be a prank. Like, "Oh, it's kryptonite. Just kidding. It's not really kryptonite." But the lead box was what poisoned him. And it's not like kryptonite where if you get it away, Superman is fine. It's like permanent and he was dying. So the only way to help him was to freeze him in time. And so Superboy sent the first innocent into the Phantom Zone. And Superman feels like he failed everyone because he couldn't stop Zod from taking Chris back. And he still hasn't found a cure for Mon-El. But Mon-El lifts his spirits and he goes, you didn't completely fail just yet." And he shows Superman that Zod found the Kryptonian prison, Fort Roz, in the Phantom Zone. And I assume Fort Roz is where they send people who didn't file their paperwork. Like Wazowski, you didn't file your paperwork.
Roz, my beautiful. Oh, what does he say? Roz, my beautiful.
Roz, my succulent garden slug. Anyways, the reason why this prison is here is because When the Kryptonians were going to send a prisoner to the Phantom Zone, a riot broke out in the prison and the projector broke, sending the whole building into the Phantom Zone. And somehow, when you're inside the prison, time can pass and you can become solid. Because otherwise, when you're in the Phantom Zone, you're just a phantom.
Okay, so question. Would you rather be a phantom or solid?
I mean, I've kind of gotten used to being solid, so I'd go with solid.
I want to be a phantom just to see how it feels and just go from there.
In this case, you get to live in a void with a bunch of assholes.
I mean, I kind of do that at work, so we one in the same.
Fair enough. But then you wouldn't have friends like me.
That is true. Okay, solid it is.
So anyways, since you're able to be solid in the prison, this explains how Zod and Ursa were able to have Christopher. And Mon-El explains that Chris isn't really affected by the Phantom Zone, so he's able to age and stay solid. He also explains that Ursa and Zod have been abusing the kid for years.
Yikes.
Superman enters the prison to try to get back to Earth, but one of the prisoners was waiting for him, and since there's no yellow sun, Superman doesn't have his powers. So Superman fights the prisoner and is almost taken out when Mon-El hits the guy in the back of the head with a pipe. But because time passes in the building, the lead poisoning starts back up, so Superman has to yeet him back out into the Phantom Zone. And Superman gets into one of the rockets, and Mon-El warns Superman that not every rocket made it through. But Superman says that he's got to save, the planet from an army of evil Kryptonians, and that Mon-El is going to need a world to welcome him back when he's able to find a cure. And Superman leaves, and he arrives in Metropolis, and some time has passed, probably about a week. The city is deserted, and Superman notices a Kryptonian crystal citadel in the distance. Knowing Zod, it probably displaced the shelter for sick puppies. And I can't help but be reminded of that one bit from the Fairly Odd Parents episode when they parody the Super Friends, where the one guy's just got like all those crystals and then they just grow buildings. And then the one kid goes, "Look out, he's got another crystal, run!" Anyway, the Phantom Zoners have been corralling all of the citizens, and the superheroes have showed up to try and stop them, but they've been captured as well. And these superheroes include Batman, Supergirl, Power Girl, and the Green Lantern. And the Green Lantern has the big cape, who should be able to handle these guys because he's magic. But there's also an army of them, so I can kind of see why he had a hard time. Also, Power Girl is the blonde with the white suit and the boob window.
Okay.
So Ursa is interrogating Lois and is about to kill her when Zod stops her with his heat vision because he says Lois can still be of use to them. And they are both baffled as to why Superman would settle for Lois. And given Zod and Ursa's own marital problems, I can kind of see why they're confused. What is this feeling you call love? And I think it's funny how Chris heat visions Zod hand just like Zod did to Ursa. I learned it from watching you. But Zod then asks him, "What are you doing?" And then Chris answers, "What Superman would do." And I love it because he does the same thing that Zod did to Ursa, but for a different reason. The right reason.
The right thing to do.
And then Zod does the wrong thing to do when he says, "Son, your time away has left you confused about where your loyalties lie. They lie with your father. I will make you remember." And I'm like, oh, that's not good at all.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I do not like that sentence.
So we cut to Luthor's lab, and he's doing some science on his chalkboard. He probably has to put his plans to make everyone else on Earth bald on hold so he can deal with all of the Kryptonians invading. When Superman bursts into the lab, Superman says, "You've spent years trying to kill me, unlocked every way you can hurt me, and built hundreds of weapons to do it. Mind if I borrow them? Can I borrow a cup of deadly weapons?"
Yeah. I just think of this SpongeBob episode where they're like trying to be strong, and he's like, "Can I borrow a couple of these with the marshmallows?" And he's like, "Mm-hmm." And 2, count them, 2 marshmallows.
Lex then laughs like a maniac, because that's a good sign.
Yikes.
And then Superman is attacked and brought to his knees, and Lex explains, "Oh, I'm all for saving the Earth from Kryptonians, but I won't be teaming up with you. You'll be teaming up with us." And then we meet his team, the Superman Revenge Squad. So Lex, Luthor, and Bizarro, you get the idea of. But the purple guy is the Parasite, and he has all the powers of math class. He sucks the life right out of you. And he can also like copy your powers if he touches you. And earlier, when Lex intercepted Superman's call to Sergeant Steele, Lex was talking to someone named Rudy. Parasite is Rudy. And the guy that looks like a Steven Universe OC is Metallo. He's a bad guy in a robot body powered by kryptonite, usually only green, but now he has a whole rainbow of doom.
So does he have like different kryptonite?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. We'll get into what they do when he uses them. So Lex is pulling a Q from James Bond, or more in my experience, a Jerry from Totally Spies, as he goes down all of the weapons and gadgets we got.
Mm-hmm.
There's a gun that shoots miniature red suns to weaken them. Not like the sun gun from that Ben 10 episode with Ghost Freak, which was just a flashlight that shoots solar radiation. This shoots miniature red suns. And a rifle that shoots out radiation that mimics kryptonite that could at least pierce their skin. The dumb muscle all wants to kill Superman, but Lex stops them. And he also says, "I was put on this Earth to kill Kryptonians, and by gum, that's what I'm going to do." Superman then asks, "So why am I still alive?" "Oh, right, because you need me." Lex then laughs again. He must have just come from the dentist. He's just sucked up too much laughing gas.
And maybe he hung out with the Joker for a little bit.
Probably. He's hungover from his drunken night with the Joker.
Yeah.
So after he laughs, he goes into a whole spiel about how everyone was weak because you taught them to rely on you, and how they need someone human to aspire to. Oh, like Captain America. Oh, wait, wrong universe. Oh, like Batman. Plus, if Lex kills Superman now, Superman would become a martyr, and Lex can't have that because then it would take attention away from him. Lex also goes, "Oh yeah, well, if it weren't for you, I would have done a lot more for humanity." And I would love it if Superman just goes, "Prove it." And like Superman eggs him on to just like A, do some good, and B, just to keep himself busy. Like, oh, you can cure this incurable disease? Prove it. I bet
Prove
you
it.
can't.
Prove it. You won't.
You won't. You're too scared. And Lex will be like, "Oh, the hell I am." And then the other guys will be like, "Hey, boss, weren't we going to like take over the city?" "Oh, did you hear him doubt me? No, we're staying here. Boss, we're just dumb muscle, and Bizarro is currently eating the test tube." Yeah. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Just hit him with a newspaper and tell him he's a bad dog. It's fine.
Yeah, just give him some screen time. That's the best babysitter. Anyways, Lex also mentions how Superman isn't technically the last son of Krypton. There are more, and they're all criminals. And Superman answers, "No, not all of them. Not Zod's kid." Meanwhile, Zod and his crew are flying with Chris, and they're going to attack an incoming military unit. Chris says no, and that his name isn't Lord Zod, it's Christopher Kent. Zod then goes on about how Superman should have enslaved the Earth, that they shouldn't look up to the sky and see their savior, but they're better, they're superior. So they demolish the military because they're an army of Supermen, and they're just a bunch of tanks. It's a tankless job. Ursa abducts the general and the human general, and Zod says, "I'm gonna let you live so you can tell everyone else to surrender, and to show you what I'm capable of, I'm gonna kill my son." And Zod is about to squeeze Chris's head like a grapefruit, but suddenly they're saved by Superman. And he's armed to the teeth like he came out of a 90s comic.
G.I. Joe got nothing on this.
He's like that one Crimson Shin from the Crimson Shin Spider-Verse type episode. You remember?
Yeah.
Not me. I got canceled.
I got canceled.
Oh, right. The super buff late 80s Crimson Shin.
And I got canceled for it.
So Superman says, you were going to kill him. You were actually going to kill your own son. And then Zod just says, I can always make another. Father of the year right there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Non and Bizarro have an intellectual, philosophical debate. Keep that one in. That's got to stay in.
Oh, that's definitely staying.
So anyway, Non and Bizarro have a debate. And then they fight. So Parasite and Metallo are shooting the shit while they kill Kryptonians. And we get a little lesson on what the different colored kryptonites do. Green, as you know, makes them weak. Red does random things like turn this one into a horrific ant monster. And if you remember your Krypto the Super Dog, the red kryptonite is also in that. And like, oh no, it's Superman. Krypto lost his memory. Oh no, Krypto's a fish.
Right.
And gold temporarily takes their powers away. Back in the day, it did it permanently, but now it doesn't do that.
Is there a pink one?
There was, but I think it was only used as a one-panel joke, and it like made Superman gay.
Right.
Like,
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. That's why I heard that one before, because people like talk about how like he didn't want Lois, but he was talking to
Jimmy, and he's like, "Hey, Jimmy, nice tie," and I'm just like, "Oh, that's not good.
That's not good.
That aged like milk."
Yeah. Well, good thing they didn't keep it.
Yeah. Now they could still make pink kryptonite, but it could do something else.
Yeah, it could do something else.
Anyway, Metallo displays the gold kryptonite when he uses it on a bunch of Kryptonians mid-flight and takes away their powers, and they go splat on the ground. And that's really all the temporary you need. Also, the two chuckle like Beavis and Butthead as the Kryptonians go splat. Sweet. Also, two things. Because Parasite is leeching off of Kryptonians plural, he should be insanely powerful. Like ungodly powerful. Maybe he could even be Goku kind of powerful.
So do you think he could beat Goku at that kind of power?
Here's the thing. As we've displayed with their dialogue, Parasite is still a moron. So even with all that power, it would be in the hands of a moron. That being said, Goku is no Einstein, so take your pick.
There it is.
Also, since he's near Metallo's kryptonite, it should affect Parasite too, because Parasite gets the weaknesses as well as the powers. But I guess since Metallo is using it as a beam, it just affects what the beam hits. Also, I just want to point out, because I'm so used to Metallo looking like a Terminator robot, because that's how he looked in the Superman cartoon. And it's so weird seeing him like look like a guy with a rainbow body. Also, fun fact, in the Superman cartoon, Metallo was voiced by the same guy that voices Mad Mod.
Oh, I love Mad Mod. Oh, he's my favorite. That episode of Teen Titans is my absolute favorite. Anything with Mad Mod is my favorite.
It's such a shame that they don't use him enough anymore.
No, they don't, but then again.
And for those of you wondering, that was the voice of Malcolm McDowell. While all the people with powers are fighting, Lex Luthor infiltrates the Crystal Fortress. And I guess since Superman has the Fortress of Solitude, this is Zod's Fortress of Togetherness. Also, Lex is in like radio contact with Superman. When Lex is suddenly attacked by a guard, Lex shoots him with kryptonite gas, then with red fire, which will burn him. But then Lex shoots a kryptonite laser or bullet through the guy's head. Lex then goes, "So that's what it feels like to kill a Kryptonian." And then he looks around to make sure nobody else is there. And he goes, "Feels good." And I don't think he was concerned about being attacked again. I think he just didn't want anyone to hear him admit that. So Superman breaks into Lois's cell and he apologizes for not getting there sooner because he's such a sweetheart. She asks how Chris is doing and he should be fine. And Soup says that he's working with Lex Luthor. And Lois is like, you're working with Lex Luthor. And I'm like, that's a fair response. And Superman says, under the circumstances, I didn't have much of a choice.
Don't come at me, babe. I had no choice, and he was the only one who would give me things.
I called. He was the only one that answered. Everyone else was here.
So get off my back. I'm trying my best.
I called everyone. I called the Justice League. I called the Titans. I called the Creature Commandos. I called the Metal Men.
I called Alfred. He hung up on me.
I called the Super Pets, but they were busy.
My own dog.
Anyway, Zod and Ursa burst in, and Zod says, "It is one against dozens." And Superman says, "Yeah, see, on the way to this cell, I unlocked all the others. So all the other heroes are freed, including Martian Manhunter, who was mentioned in our episode Batman Universe. He's the green guy with the blue suit. Red Tornado, who is a robot with air powers, and he's got an arrow on his head like Aang from Avatar. Wonder Woman and Hawkman and Hawkwoman, as well as Supergirl and Power Girl. So Superman is duking it out with Zod and Ursa, and they talk about how Superman has to pretend to be human. And one of the things, at least in my opinion, is that Clark Kent isn't a mask. He was raised on Earth. For the longest time, he believed he was an Earthling. He is Clark Kent. He is humble. He's just a good farm boy that was raised right. And when he found out he has all these powers, he decided to use it responsibly. And sure, he acts clumsier as Clark, but that's just an act so people don't expect he can level a city.
Which, honestly, I would be the same way, just to keep, face.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Zod and Ursa say that if Superman's dad had helped Zod slaughter the council, they could have saved Krypton. Superman calls him out on this and saying Zod had no idea how to save Krypton. Zod says he would have found a way. So Superman calls his bluff and asks, what way? Tell me how you would have saved our planet. Tell me what you would have done. Spell it out for me. And then Zod deflects the question like a foul ball, saying Soups is just as much a fool as his father. Zod then gives him a don't you know who I am speech, boasting about how he rallied Krypton's military after Brainiac disintegrated the city of Kandor. More on that in a future episode. And how he stopped the Doomsday terrorists before they could unleash their monster, which I presume must be Doomsday. And as they're fighting, Chris heat visions Zod in the arm, and Superman's like, oh no, Chris, you gotta get out of here. Get out of the city, like right now. And we cut to Luthor sciencing with one of Zod's pods, the Zod pod.
Zod pod.
Quick, to the Zod pod! Lois is there and she asks what he's doing. And Luthor replies, I'm saving the world from aliens, Miss Lane. And then she reminds him it's Mrs. And Lex is all, yes, slipped my mind. And he says how he can't accept how Lois could marry such a loser like Clark Kent. So we got a little parallel between Zod and Lex. They're both pompous jerkwads who apparently can't fathom marrying for love despite social status. They both would hate Disney's Aladdin.
Yeah, they would.
What's the deal? This guy gets all the power in the universe and he loses it to some stupid street rat?
Yes, that exactly.
Yeah, because Jafar's a jerk. This really ain't sinking in, is it?
Take notes right now.
All right, both of you in the corner with the dunce cap. There's only one. Then share. We both don't know how to do that. Of course you don't.
Oh, makes frickin' sense.
Lex then says, my offer to save you from Kent is still good. And I'm just like, ugh. And Lois feels the same way. Lex then explains how he's going to save the world from the Kryptonians because they are still kind of tethered to the Phantom Zone. And the tether is like a rubber band waiting to snap back. So once he's done fiddling with the rocket, the tether will pull it back into the Phantom Zone, shattering it open and pull anyone who has been there back. Like Zod, Ursa, Non, Superman, and Chris. Lois then says, you didn't tell him that part, did you? And Lex goes, must have slipped my mind. Lois then calls him a son of a bitch as he activates it. So we cut back to the fight with Zod and Superman. Zod tells Chris, "You've defied me for the last time, boy!" And he's about to smack Chris when Superman grabs his hand. And Sup says, "No, you've abused your son for the last time." So a bunch of glass shard-looking portals open, sending the Kryptonians back to the Phantom Zone. Now, I don't think I explained this, but the reason why the Phantom Zone has a whole shattered glass kind of theme is because it's like evoking the movie.
Again, it seems like there's a revolving theme here.
Yeah. And who worked on that movie again? Oh, Richard Donner. What a coincidence.
Oh, why am I so surprised?
That being said, I like it. It's it different from like a bunch of the other like alternate universe stuff.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So while the thing is activated, Lex screams to the heavens, "I've done it! I, Lex Luthor, have saved the world from..." And then Lois hits him in the back of the head with a big crystal and tells him to shut up. And I'm like, thank God.
Thank God someone took that job.
And I like this Lois because while she was captured, she hits Lex in the back of the head. So she's a take charge kind of gal.
Mm-hmm.
So Zod is hanging on to Chris when a police car hits Zod and sends him back to the Phantom Zone. But before he goes, Zod vows vengeance, saying the next time he gets out, he'll unleash some horror hidden in the Phantom Zone. And that'll probably be in another book. I haven't read it, so I don't know if they ever follow through on that. So Superman grabs Chris, and Chris guesses that the reason why the portal is still open is because of him, because he was the first one through, he opened the door. He might have also hinted that because the rocket opened the portal, he needs to shut off the rocket. It's not exactly that clear. And Superman says, "No, we can find another way." And Chris thanks Superman for giving him so much, a family, a home, and he even got to meet Robin. Shame we didn't get to see that. Now, at this time, that would have probably been Robin number 3, Tim Drake. I don't know if Damian was invented yet, but it could have been. I'm not sure. So we almost had Christopher Kent as the Super Son.
Interesting.
So Chris flies up and Superman flies after him to try to stop him. And Chris says, "Up, up, and away," right before the rocket explodes and the portal closes. And Superman is knocked back, and then he just puts his head in his hands. So we see a bunch of newspaper headlines, and Luthor is arrested, Bizarro is still at large, and Metallo and Parasite get arrested in Gotham by the other superheroes. I'd love it if they just took like one step in Gotham and were like, "Oh shit, everyone here is insane. We give up."
Yeah, they just take a step. Wait a second. We forgot where we were for a second. Never mind, please take us.
Like they just see like, "Oh man, this will be great. We team up with Joker and then we'll be big shots." And then like Joker like kills a guy in front of them and they're like, oh no, we bet the wrong horse. Wonder Woman, can you come arrest us, please?
And when Wonder Woman doesn't come, and it's Batman, and he goes, "Just get in the car."
"Get in, loser. We're going to jail."
Thank God.
So Perry White is looking for over the headlines, and he says he needs one more that really sums everything up. And Jimmy Olsen feels bad for Chris because he heard about what the Phantom Zone is like, and that's really no place for a kid. Jimmy also asks, he wasn't anything like his dad, was he? Lois walks in and answers him saying no, he was a good kid with bad parents. Perry then goes, "Hey, speaking of parents, when are you two going to have a go at it?" Lois and Clark then look at each other, and then Clark answers, That's kind of a personal question there, Chief." And Lois gives Perry the headline, and it says, "Kryptonian boy saves Metropolis." Meanwhile, Lex reads it in his cell, and he says, "It wasn't the boy, it was me!" And I just love how petty he is and how he doesn't get the credit.
I mean, that's karma for him right there.
Yep. So we cut back again to the Fortress of Solitude, and Clark is talking to Space Dad, and Jor-El says he hoped he could convince the Council of his findings. Unfortunately, only Zod believed him, and having Zod on his side did not help his case. Jor-El also says that, "Remember, son, you may look human, but you aren't." Thanks, Dad. And he also explains that a Kryptonian and a human are biologically incapable of having a child together. And Superman admits that somehow he's always known that. as if the editor had told him so. No kids for Superman. That would make him old. Jor-El apologizes, saying that he has failed Superman because he truly is the last son of the House of El, and you even see a holographic tear. Superman says, no, you didn't fail me. You gave me a chance to live, and for that I will be forever grateful. So Superman goes to check on Mon-El with the Phantom Zone viewer, and Mon-El says that Zod and his forces have retreated to Fort Roz and that Chris isn't with them. He could be anywhere in the Phantom Zone, and that the zone itself might even be endless. But Mon-El will never stop looking, and Superman thanks him as he flies off. So one bit I wanted to point out was that in the beginning of the book, when Superman and Sarge Steel are asking where Chris came from, Chris is playing with blocks, and the block that he is holding has a letter Z on it for Zod.
For Zod.
And Jor-El says that Superman and Lois cannot physically have a kid, except, Superman does with John. And not only does he have a kid with Lois, this is the same Superman, the pre-Flashpoint Superman, but they revealed that they were both Superman anyway, so whatever. And there is some good news to this because Chris does come back before the reboot, but he's aged up and he becomes the new Nightwing. Because as you know, Nightwing was actually a Kryptonian hero that Superman told Dick Grayson, aka Robin, who, when he got too old for the tights, decided to become Nightwing. However, when DC Rebirth happened, not only do Superman and Lois have John, but Chris comes back with Zod, and Chris is evil.
Oh, man.
So that sucks. But
yeah.
In any event, what did you think of this story?
I mean, it was cool. I don't know. This one was just not my cup of tea. Maybe because I don't like Superman to begin with. It's one of those stories that are just like, eh.
Well, I feel like I was never that much of a Superman guy, but I feel like we can at least appreciate Superman because he started everything. He debate-wise, but he was popular enough that he spawned he helped start the whole superhero thing, and that the things he stands for and the fact that he has the power to do it, it's good, and he's important, and it's nice to see Superman just be Superman. Anything else? Any final thoughts?
No.
Anyway, so thank you, dear viewers, for joining us, and always remember to support your local comic book stores and your libraries, because without them, we would be unable to do this show. And if you want to buy this book for yourself, we will provide a link in the description. So see you in the next episode, folks.
Bye.
Bye.